It's time to pick your candidates. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Malone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, early voting is underway in Maryland with more than a dozen new locations across the state and longer hours. Voters will have plenty of time to get out there and vote. CTV's Byron Scott spent the day at one busy location in Landover.
This is what greeted voters as they arrived at the Wayne K. Curry Sports and Learning Complex in Landover, a field of signs. There were signs just about everywhere, each telling voters who to vote for and why.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
It is the first day of early voting in Maryland. Candidates seized the opportunity to meet and greet as folks pressed their ways to the polls.
Well, I'm so busy, and I just feel that I needed to come early to start to vote.
This was also a day to be seen. Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown entered the center alongside candidate for state's attorney Angela Alsobrooks and Brown's daughter Rebecca.
You ready to vote?
She's ready to vote.
It was her first time voting.
And we've got volunteers around the state who are informing voters that we're voting in June. Our hope is to get that participation up as high as possible.
Turnout has not been expected to be very high, but as long as we get our voters out, I'll be happy.
Arlene Woods is one of those who did get out and vote, and to whoever gets elected, she says,
do not touch our retirement, Social Security, anything. Don't touch it, because we need it. We work for it. I think we deserve to have our money.
As the signs indicate, there are a slew of candidates who are either standing on principle or have proven experience. Up for grabs are statewide and local races from the governor's office, attorney general, congressional seats, county council, you name it.
It sends a signal to the state how important we are in Prince George's County. If it's a low turnout, the state's going to look and say, well, why are we spending time? Candidates are going to look and say, why are we spending time in Prince George's County? Why don't we go to these other places? And so that's why I want them to come out and to vote.
And while the candidates are hoping for high voter turnout, we won't know those numbers for a while. Early voting goes through the 19th. The actual primary is on the 24th. In Landover, Byron Scott, CTV News.
Well, skipping long lines is one of the benefits to early voting this week. The Suitland Community Park School Center is one of the 8 early voting polling sites for Prince George's residents to cast their ballots.
We opened at 10. And it has been really great on the inside. It's slow going. When we first opened, I think we had a short line, and since then, they're trickling in. They just have to sign in, then go to the machines and put their cards in, and and then we just, stand back in case they have any questions or anything. And if they have any questions, then we help them with their questions and whatever it is that they, don't know how to do. And it only takes like a few moments and then they're finished. So it's very easy, simple, step to do.
Is very important to me, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to get in with no stressors and to beat the crowd. I'm happy because I cast the votes for the persons that I thought would represent the state of Maryland, also my community, Prince George's County, and it was very important to me to do that. And so I wanted to make sure that my vote was in, because if we don't vote, we'll settle for anything.
All right, here you go. Polling sites for early voting are the Suitland, Upper Marlboro, College Park, Baden, and Bowie Community Centers, the Sports and Learning Center, the Southern Regional Technology and Recreation Complex, and Laurel Beltsville Senior Activity Center.
A cloudy day and a little bit of rain haven't stopped residents from casting their early ballots. Voters at Prince George's Community Center were greeted by last-minute campaigners and lawn signs bearing the name of gubernatorial hopefuls. Residents told us how they feel about candidates in this year's election.
I'm 73 years old, and whatever they can do for the senior citizens, I'm for them.
I wish, as someone who's not affiliated with a political party, I wish I had more choices. I would certainly vote for open primaries and hope that our state delegates ultimately get to that or some sort of solution.
I'd like to see them strengthen our schools and work better with the educators to make for a stronger program for the boys and girls of Prince George's County and for the state. And I'd like us to get away from all this testing and do some teaching.
And primary elections will continue until Thursday, June 19th. You can visit the Maryland State Board of Elections website to find the polling location closest to you. And a veteran lawmaker and a relative newcomer are locked in a tight battle to become Maryland's next Attorney General. A poll by the Washington Post reveals that Baltimore County Delegate John Cardin has the lead among likely voters by 26%. Senator Brian Frosch from Montgomery County trails closely behind with 20%. However, Frosch's support has roughly tripled since February, whereas Cardin's support has not budged. Prince George's delegate Aisha Braveboy is running third at 13%.
With the primary so close, it now seems unlikely that Prince George's top elected official will publicly tip his hat in support of a candidate vying to be Maryland's top leader. For months, County Executive Rashawn Baker has evaded questions over who he'll endorse for governor. A delicate decision for Baker between the party's frontrunner, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, and the ticket of longtime family friend and chair of the county delegation in Annapolis, Jolene Ivey. Local attorney Arthur Horn Jr. has volunteered his legal services during county and state elections for more than 2 decades. He says Baker has a record of working well with other leaders, and whether or not he chooses to endorse will make little difference to voters.
I don't know if there was any benefit for him to do that, I'm not sure if there's any benefit for him to endorse. I mean, again, he's going to weigh the factors, and everybody doesn't always endorse, and he may look at the situation and say Prince George's County will be in good hands with any of the Democratic candidates. I'm not saying that's what he's saying, but he could say that, or if he decides to endorse, he will do so based on factors that he believes was best for Prince George's County residents.
Horn also previously served as general counsel to both the Prince George's Housing Authority and the County Revenue Authority. All right, well, you're watching CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.